Hello and welcome to the KE Report. I'm your host, Shad Markwitz, and I'm speaking today with Andrew Pollard, President and CEO of Blackrock Silver, traded on the TSX.V under the ticker BRC and on the OTCQX under the ticker BKRRF. And Andrew, always great having you on the show to discuss Blackrock Silver. And today we're going to be taking a look at some news that was just reported to the market April 18th on your Tonopah North option property to Tearlach Resources, where they have now reported 5 of the 11 drill holes from this year's drill program. And out of those first 5 core holes, 2 of them were testing some of the work that you guys had already done to define the initial results, but then further define them. And they came back a lot higher grade than the results that your team got initially from the lab. And then 3 of the other holes were essentially stepping out from the project. Let's start with those first 2 holes where they retested those areas. They came back significantly higher grades. What do you make of that? And what are you making of the project just as you start seeing some of these results come in from the first 5 drill holes?
I'll tell you what, anytime you go to twin a hole and it comes back, well, not only, does it line up with the previous intercept in terms of, confirming the discovery, but delivering grades 40 to 85% higher grade than the actual original discovery. Well, I'd say that's a pretty good problem to have. What that means is that our original discovery looks like it's potentially much higher grade than the original drilling actually indicated. And yeah, I'd say our joint venture or our partnership with Tearlach is off to a pretty swimming start.
Absolutely. And it looks like these holes are coming back greater than 1,000 parts per million lithium. So very good grade. These are the highest grade one, 1460. So, I mean, pretty good grades, too.
This is the highest grade drilling on average that we've seen across the entire project. In fact, it delivered the highest grades. We drilled every single drill hole reported in this morning's release had intervals over 1,000 ppm. To put that in perspective, the cutoff grade we're using is 400 ppm. So, it's more than double the cutoff grade, which shows that should be a pretty robust system we're on. And in 1460 is the new highest grade intercept we've achieved there. To put that in perspective, we're right next door to a company called American Lithium, which just put out their maiden PEA on their property. And, what we're showing in terms of grade profile lines up nearly identically with theirs. They're right next door. We're in the exact same rocks, exact same stratigraphy that they are. Ours starts right at surface, just like theirs does. We're drilling out. I mean, Tearlach, just in this release today, is releasing results from about 4 square kilometers worth of drilling. They've established continuity, they've established grade profile, and it lines up very, very well with the project next door. And I guess what I'm getting at is the project next door just put out their PEA, and they've got a $5 billion NPV. Now, what we're showing is already we're demonstrating significant, massive tonnage potential. We've got 6 more drill holes at the lab, plus the bottom of one of these holes too. So 6.5 drill holes. And all of these remaining drill holes effectively represent step outs beyond where this drilling went off. So, when all said and done, about 6 or 7 square kilometers of this property will be drilled out with continuity effectively established. And I mean, you're starting to get into a similar size and scale to what they've got next door, just in terms of the area, the surface area. Right now, I think Blackrock Silver, we've got gold, and now it looks like we've got a whole lot of white gold. So, I'd say we're a leverage call option to the price of silver. I mean, we're sticking to what we do best, which is, epithermal gold and silver high grade systems. And, Bill Howell, our geologist, has been hitting out of the park there, making discoveries. But we've brought in the experts on the lithium clay side, and yeah, they're delivering. They're quickly going to be working towards putting out a resource estimate. They say they'll have done by year's end, and they're going to follow that up with a PEA soon to follow. So this isn't something we're not going to be, waiting for this pot to boil very long. I mean, there's more drill holes pending. They're going to use that data to inform a small phase 2 program just to fill in any gaps. And then I think they're going to be pushing for resource. And, we'll be tied to that. So if we're a leverage call option on the price of silver, consider this project, this exposure as being a free warrant tied to lithium for investors. And we think it's got potential to get really, really big.
Yeah, Andrew, let's maybe dive into that a little bit more because, as you say, they had 3 other step-out holes that were reported along with this. They've got 6 more step-out holes along this trend that are mineralized that, waiting to get assays back. They may do a little more drilling and then put out the resource. But just where it is right now, do you think most investors really are giving Blackrock Silver or Tearlach Resources, for that matter, the credit that it deserves when you consider that the neighbors just put out a PEA on a $5 billion NPV project? You think that it's being factored in at this point?
Well, it's not. If it was, we'd be trading significantly higher, as would Tearlach. But at the same point, I mean, this is our first set of news since we completed our financing. I think we've already traded. It's Tuesday morning right now, and we're 2 hours in. We've already traded way more than our average shares already. But this is the first. Right now, we're at the same levels as the financing, so you might see some volume here as people ride the warrants, but once again, this is becoming undeniable at this point. There's more news pending, and the corollaries just on the trend. It's not just American Lithium. I mean, there's another project down there right on the same belt as we are called American Battery Metals. ABML is their symbol. They've got one of the largest lithium resources in North America. They're trading for about $600 or $700 million US, and their grade profile is actually substantially lower than what we just put out. So there's 2 monster deposits, within walking distance of where we are here. We're the only one that seems to be at the intersection of this really, really massive lithium belt where it crosses ultra high grade silver camp. I mean, we've got a very, very unique proposition there, which is starting to take some serious shape. And I think, as this project advances, as the results come in, and certainly by the time we get a resource out on this, I mean, I think it's going to the size potential, even the tonnage potential we've already sort of established should be enough to really, really move the needle. But we're not just sitting on our laurels here. We've got other projects that we're focusing on, and I'm pretty excited about our upcoming program at Silver Cloud, because we're going back to follow up on our multi-ounce blind gold discovery that we just announced too. So yeah, no rest for the wicked.
Well, let's talk about that, because last year you did hit a real zinger at Silver Cloud. You got the market's attention. You are following up on it. I think you're drilling 2,000 meters, if I'm correct, at Silver Cloud. But just walk us through, what the goals are over at Silver Cloud for this drilling that's coming up.
Yeah, well, we're going right back to the scene of our 70 gram per ton gold and 606 gram per ton silver intercept. We're going to go back and target that same structure on either side and just keep, we effectively know where it is now. We're just going to show size potential here. Hopefully we can keep hitting grades similar to that. The Northern Nevada Rift is known as the highest grade gold belt in Nevada. We're next door to 2 of the highest grade historic mines in Nevada, including the Midas deposit, which was, one of the biggest cash cows in the entire industry 20 years ago. And it looks like we might have the extension of that same system. What we're drilling is similar in terms of vein width, in terms of geology, and in terms of orientation as Midas. It points directly at the system. So, if this is the extension of that deposit, things could get really, really, really interesting very, very quickly. But it's turning out we've got some pretty good ground between all 3 of our projects, be it an elephant country, on the lithium side of things, to being next to some of the highest grade operations in the state, and us being the donut hole in the middle. So we're excited to go back there. 2 ounce per ton gold discoveries in Nevada, brand new, are very, very few and far between. So this is something that at these grades, the ounces and, start to pile up very, very quickly. It was a historically cold, snowy winter in Northern Nevada this year. So I mean, right now it's only just starting to warm up there. So we're expecting the snow to melt over the next week or so, and then we'll be able to get back up there, start drilling, hopefully some point in early May to follow up on this discovery. But I think that's something that will really move the needle for us in the short term, because it doesn't take much explanation if you're hitting grades like that.
No, it doesn't, Andrew. It's those were impressive grades last year, and I'm sure people are going to be, eager to see how things go once we get back on the ground there. But how many holes will that actually be out of that 2,000 meters, and will they be deep holes, shallow holes? Could you maybe give us a little more color around what the holes will look like?
Yeah, well, so, anytime you start with something, the goal is that it gets expanded on the back of good results. What this initial drilling will allow us to do is we'll be able to step out either side of the original discovery, and then we're going to work our way back towards the Placer Dome discovery, which is about 425 meters away. That's the original intercept on that structure. I guess the big the big unlocking of our understanding was hitting the vein 425 meters away and actually pinning the tail on the donkey in terms of which way the system's actually running, because that was the big white whale for us. We didn't know. We knew there was high grade potential there. We had an old intercept from Placer Dome from 20 years ago, but no one had been able to tie it together before. We just did. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that original, and then we're going to start working our way back towards that original discovery hole. So hopefully that'll give us about 500 meters or so of strike that we can drill out on the back of this program. And hopefully it's a program that once it starts, it's actually not going to stop, because, once again, I think there'll be lots of people watching this given the area code it's in. There's no small companies really doing much work up there. It's all on one side of us is the Nevada Gold Mines joint venture. We're 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers from the largest gold mine in North America, being Goldstrike. And then we're surrounded by Hecla Mining, which owns, Hollister and Midas. So we're pretty certain the corporates will be watching this program.
Yeah, in the country with the big boys there doing drilling. So they're definitely the right neighborhood to keep making more discoveries and following up on last year's work. But I'm sure there's some people also interested about what the drill program is going to look like for Tonopah West for this year. I know that's going to happen a little later after Silver Cloud, but what can you tell us about the plan for Tonopah West?
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of work behind the scenes right now on our end, doing the hard yards in terms of modeling all the drilling that's been done subsequent to the resource. Last year, we hit really, really good success stepping out on the other side of this large fault, which had effectively, from the market's perspective, cut off the mineralization. Well, we've shown that we found the offset vein there. It's wide open. It's running up north towards our Tonopah North property. And effectively what that means is we've just established that one of the greatest American silver camps, one of the highest grade silver camps in North America, we just found the extension of it on the other side of the system, and it's wide open. So what we're doing right now, modeling all the data, we're trying to figure out where we'll get the most impact from our drilling, and then we're going to lay out it'll be either summer or fall drill program at Tonopah North once we've got, our sea legs under us at Silver Club first. So right now, in terms of news flow, what I'd say is we've got more drill holes pending from Tonopah North. These drill holes are from the lithium. These drill holes are all effectively massive step outs, and those should be coming down the pipe very, very shortly. Then we've got Silver Cloud commencing, in the matter of a couple of weeks here. And then, hopefully we'll have some good success in the drill bit there, and we'll follow up Silver Cloud this summer with Tonopah North. And we might have some other news on that front too in the coming weeks. So, stay tuned. 3 projects all looking pretty good here. So,
Well, and Andrew, just remind people of what the cash position of the company is now in the treasury, but also what the option agreement is with Tearlach Resources at Tonopah North, just for those that maybe aren't familiar with what the option agreement is.
Yeah, well, I guess the best thing about these results today from Tearlach is that we didn't have to spend a dime on drilling to get them. So our option with Tearlach is effectively they've got an option to earn up to 70% by spending $15 million US on developing the project to a feasibility study. The first threshold they have to hit would be to spend $5 million within the first 3 years to earn 50% or 51% of the project. So they're well on their way to do that. But, once again, this is effectively a free warrant for us and investors to ride, tied to lithium. They're going to be quick to put a resource on this. So there should be some fundamental value established very quickly here. In terms of our cash position, we just closed the financing last month. So we raised just under $4.5 million. We haven't spent any of it yet because we're the beneficiary of this work program from Tearlach on the lithium. And that's money's going to be deployed into our Silver Cloud program and our upcoming Tonopah program. So, we're good. We're fully financed now. Silver and gold are looking like they want to go higher. We've churned through a lot of stock. Last month, we did something like 25 million shares all in. We've climbed back substantially off our lows. Right now, we're right at the level of our last financing, but I think that, the resistance here is dissipating. We're following up effectively the lithium discovery, which we've now confirmed. We've got our Silver Cloud discovery. I hope the same thing happens where our follow-up drilling comes back higher grade too. And then Tonopah West, we're backstopped by some of the highest grade ounces in the ground in the silver industry, and we've established that it's getting bigger. So, 3 projects, 3 discoveries, all look like they're going to be getting bigger pretty soon. So stay tuned.
All right, Andrew, we'll wrap it up there. But yeah, it's a good situation to have, to be cashed up, to have all 3 projects firing on all cylinders, and then also to be able to report drill news that another company is helping pay for. So that's always a fun way to kick things off for the year. And we'll definitely keep following along, Andrew. So keep us posted as more of those results come back in. We'll get you back on the show, and looking forward to our next conversation.
Awesome. Much appreciated. Thanks so much.